2 minutes into the recording, I've lost control. I never had control to begin with, to be fair.
You never had control to begin with.
No.
Oh, well, you don't have control. This is. Oh, God.
That's a great entry.
But I'm gonna sound like such a dorky cat mom for this, but it's Kudalun's gotcha day is the 23rd, so it's like almost the anniversary of me first getting my cat.
Aww.
Her full name is in fact Kudalun Yule McGee.
Aww.
Happy gotcha day.
She's sleeping
That's
currently
so
and cannot
cute.
hear you, but I will give her extra cuddles later.
Good. From all of us.
I would like to note that Rob has been seamlessly knitting this entire time.
Well, yeah.
Seamlessly? If there are
Yes.
no seams involved in knitting?
And I would just like to
True.
note that I am impressed because I have tried to learn how to knit and failed miserably, so I'm remarking upon it with impressiveness.
I can't do it either. I got the needles and I was staring at it like, and my mind just exploded.
It
So
takes a
I'm
while
fairly
to
certain-
like figure out the stitch for the first time, but then you just do it for like several thousand times, and then hat.
Suddenly hat.
So I'm fairly
Suddenly
certain that my
had-
mom doesn't listen to this, which is probably for the best given some of the things that I've said on here. But Mom, if you're listening, please stop.
Now it's
But
finally
the
become
most
just a
reason is
podcast.
because-
we've
so
given
I
up on
just-
D&D.
I just finished. I
Yes.
sent off for a Christmas present. I paid extra, so it's going to get there by Christmas Day. And there's two components to it. And one is it's like this little card that you can put in your wallet. It's like laser etched. It's metal, so it's engraved. And it's got engraved on it some of the words that I used when I came out to her, which I referred to
Aw.
as, I trusted you, and you said I love you in response. Functionally, my mom's response was, anyone who loves you is lucky, anyone who loves you is lucky. No, anyone you love is lucky, and anyone who loves you has good taste.
Aw.
For the wrapping for this present, I got into crafting this year, as a lot of us did, because pandemic and quarantine.
What else we gonna do?
Shout out to Deb for humoring all of my various pictures of really cool fabric that I want to buy.
It's shiny. Don't apologize for shiny.
But my mom sent me like a whole bunch of like the crafting stuff that they had laying around, which is a lot of the stuff that my grandma had used. And while I was going through the yarns and attempting and failing to learn how to knit, I found a scarf that my grandma had started but had never finished. I was going to try and learn how to finish it. I failed at that. However, it is the perfect size to wrap a very small Christmas present in. So that's what I sent to my mom. She's gonna
That's
get
so
a
cool.
my grandma. She's gonna cry. In a good way.
That's super
That's
cool.
awesome.
Have we got out of our systems now? Or are we ready to
I think
begin?
so. It seems like it.
Doubtful at best.
I could talk at length about knitting, but that doesn't seem like a good use of everybody's time today.
I'm on team
Complain about
crochet,
hearing you talk
so
about knitting, but
I learned so much about my friends doing this.
Some of which can't be unlearned.
No, I gave
So-
up
so-
that a long time ago.
real quick, I've been crocheting a lot of random things, and I was trying to crochet a red dragon, and I realized today that I put one of the legs on backwards and one of the legs on upside down.
Oh, good.
So I have to take out quite a few rows because
Oh.
this is the weirdest dragon with disjointed legs you've ever seen.
Poor
Please.
little
Yeah, can we see
thing.
him?
please can we
Oh,
see
So,
them?
the
I mean,
weirdest dragon.
It's one of them is like upside down. The other one is
Oh.
so, but it's not that much work to redo it.
Hi,
I just
Gargan.
I'm
You
gonna
could've
put it
just-
aside for like 4 weeks and forget about it for like 3 years. It's okay.
You could have just
Smart.
made
So
it
it
into a
goes.
beholder. Make it into a beholder and
Ooh.
I'm just gonna
More
keep
legs.
adding more legs. I'm just gonna keep adding legs.
Yeah.
Just
Why
for-
stop?
legs for days.
Yeah,
Don't ever stop.
coward. All right, let's get this going. Well, everyone, happy holidays and such. Welcome back to Ryan. I'm here again with the wonderful Gaffers as we enter into a little bit of a special Christmas episode. But before we get that, of course, we have the introductions. And this time I did send the players notice ahead of time if they actually read it. I'm not sure, but we'll find out now. Today, since the holidays are nigh, and Santa will soon be breaking and entering into everyone's house, but we all apparently collectively seem to be cool with that. We're going to go around and we're going to introduce ourselves, and if you could please tell me and the audience at home the best gift that you have received as a person and the best gift your character has ever received at Solstice. So once again, I am Scoot, I am your DM, and I am the cat wrangler of, most aspects of my life, but this one in particular.
What is the best present you've ever received, Scoot?
Obviously, us as players.
The joy of friendship.
Oof.
Yes, the
That's
joy of
true.
friendship.
Apologies. My sympathies.
So I'll immediately cop to apparently having poor reading comprehension, because I thought it was the best present you have received or the best present your character has received, not and. So I can tell you the best present my character has received, because that's what I gave thought to.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Hi, I'm Robert. I play Nick, the human wizard, and the best Solstice present he ever received was the commuting of a lifelong prison sentence. His trial was on Solstice, and that's when who is now his wizard master came and oh no, court, don't worry. He was working for me at the time. Don't sentence this young boy to a life in prison.
It's a very interesting
Wow.
thing for the players to have as knowledge, but not the characters.
That's
Right.
true.
Right.
You did
Yeah.
actually tell us that.
What?
I think you did actually tell us that.
I think
It's
Nick has referenced it a little bit, but he's never said it
It's
was
in
on
the
Solstice.
written backstory bios we have out there for each other. It does exist there.
Yeah, I don't know if Nick's actually brought it up in character.
Ooh.
I'm not certain. I would have to go back and look at the recordings.
Okay.
Look at the.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Just look at them. Look at the sound waves.
Yes. Yes.
Next.
I can go. Hello, I'm Will. I play Roscoe, the Aasimar warlock / druid / nothing else yet,
Yes,
but
he's gonna be a
we
rogue.
all know it's inevitable.
It's inevitable.
I, for myself, will, when asked what the best Christmas present we ever got was, I have I'm sure there were other things that were like more impressive, but for some reason the only thing I could think of today was when I was like, I want to say somewhere in the neighborhood of like 9 years old. It was a very warm Christmas, and we got a bunch of presents under the tree, very good. And then we were told to look out front, and my parents had purchased and assembled. It was a seesaw, but it also pivoted on the middle point, so you could seesaw and whip around 360 degrees on this thing.
No evil will
Now
come of
that's
that.
some 90s
Yeah.
And oh yeah,
play equipment.
oh
Are you-
yeah, this was
Are you sure they
pre-
correctly? Like, was that intended?
this was a pre-lawsuit America.
That's
like-
let your kids run around and scream from the porch for dinner, America.
And like
Oh yeah.
they handed that to a house of 3 boys, and we
God.
went ape shit. And just like I just remember they were like, we're gonna move it to the backyard, and we're like, you're not gonna touch it. We're going to use it right here. This is where I live now. I live in the front yard. Leave me alone.
I'll wash
Bring
in the
me my
hose, it's
meals.
fine.
Yeah, yeah. It was like so cool. I just have a very vivid memory of that as a Christmas morning thing. So that counts as the best for today, anyway, because that's all I could think about. For Roscoe, I think the best solstice present he ever got would have been he and his dad are obviously very close. Roscoe's best solstice present was probably the first time I got to pick where we went on vacation. And I don't know if I picked anywhere fancy. Like, we lived in Thunderblade. There's a lot of places you can get to. Like, I think it probably was like just a little like mountain weekend. But the first time Dad was like, your present is you get to pick where we go. You're getting to make some of the decisions. That was a big deal. There we go.
I dig
Nice.
that.
Next.
I can go next. So, mine's pretty easy. So, like, I don't know how many years ago it was, 4 or 5 years ago. Ryan had gotten me a Surface Studio, and I cannot tell you how many hundreds, perhaps thousands of hours I've spent drawing in front of that thing, and it's probably the best thing I've ever received. So that's definitely my favorite present. Close second was definitely my N64 though, and when I was a wee lass. Oh right, I never introduced myself. I'm Deb. I play Tessa, the Tiefling Paladin. Now her favorite solstice gift, when she was a kid, she was really interested in sword fighting and sparring, and for one solstice, her dad actually gave her a wooden sword. And this was kind of a shock for her because he never liked to talk about his time being a soldier. And he kind of always kept that hush-hush, but he gave her a wooden sword, and they spent a good part of the day training with it, and he was just showing her some like little moves and stuff, and she was really, really happy about that. So that's what she remembers the most.
I can go next. I'm Kate. I play Neva, our half-dryad druid. So I've been lucky enough to receive many lovely and considerate presents in my life. But like the one that I immediately thought of when Scoot sent this question was back in 2003 when our family was doing our Christmas gift exchange. The way that we do it is every family takes a number of names equal to the number of kids they have. So if you take 3 kids, you take 3 presents that you buy for other people, so that, you know, all the kids in the family get presents. The adults can exchange if they want to. And there's a $25 limit on it. So this being 2003, The Return of the King had just come out, and I knew that like any of the movies was going to be well over the $25 budget. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to ask for like, you know, a nice, you know, Visa gift card for Christmas this year, because I'm going to save up. I'm going to buy those extended editions. I'm going to love it. And on Christmas Day, there was not a small card-like package when we went to visit with family. There was instead a box of approximately, I don't know, like maybe 18 inches wide by about, 9 inches tall or so. And I opened it up, and it was the extended editions of Lord of the Rings, all 3 movies. Like, all of the bonus material. I still have it. I freaked the fuck out. 13-year-old me was very excited. And my Aunt Nancy, who was the one who bought the present, I think she enjoyed seeing me open it as much as I enjoyed opening it, which was pretty cute. And the best present Neva has ever received was her last solstice before she headed out from the crossroads. Her students all chipped in together and bought her, or her students specifically from Doshnaral chipped in and bought her ornaments. She doesn't actually have horns, but they basically found a way to modify them and like make them work on antlers, at least temporarily.
Oh, there's got to be a pun there somewhere.
It'll come up later, don't worry.
I'll think of it.
Ornaments? I don't like it.
We'll workshop it.
Hi, I'm Randall, and I play Kiki, the Kinku Tinkerer. I think Kiki's is easy because for her, it would be the year that her mentor got Kiki her own set of tinker tools, where for her, she was used to just grabbing whatever was around the shop and learning to use that, and she was more than fine with it. Like, she never even considered that. And so, Kiki grew up on the street. She didn't have a lot, so for her to have something that was her own and in this like professional capacity, I think for her really meant a lot to her. And it probably at that time sealed the deal that her mentor was more than just a mentor, but like family for her. For me, it's interesting. I didn't put a lot of thought into it, but honestly, what flashed to my mind was something when I was a really young kid. I got a stuffed Scooby-Doo doll, and I loved that thing more than anything else in the world. But like, it's not something that I've ever seen anywhere else. Like, I've never seen, even on like retro sites or something like that. So it's just something that's kind of unique in my memory that that I remember from my childhood. So yeah.
So everyone kind of gave me time to think about it. I think the best thing is sort of piggybacking off of Deb. I am significantly younger than my siblings. I'm roughly 5 and 7 years. So one year the N64 was coming out. My parents told me up and down, like, we didn't buy this. Don't get your hopes up. It's not happening. we couldn't get one, and we were all like, all right, whatever, like, look, it's fine, like, we'll find a way to get to one, but, like, we didn't want my parents, like, freaking out. So we went over to my uncles, who were also significantly older than my mother. Like, they are 20 years older than her. But this had all been a clever ruse, as my uncles had gone out and bought us an N64. And it was a shared present for me and my brother, and sort of also my sister, although she wasn't super into games, but she did play with us. And, like, we went ape shit when we saw. We're like, oh my god! We freaked out.
The height of graphics.
Yeah.
There is something delightful about, like, getting somebody a present that makes them go, oh my god!
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, for sure. It's its own type of.
It is.
Yeah. The problem with characters, I have many characters, like in the world, but there's also my self-insert.
Since he's your.
Yeah.
What's the best present Plains ever got?
Yeah, as he's my avatar. So it's not a thing. It's sort of an experience. So where you're going in this episode, actually, this might be a good segue in, is a very safe place. There's a lot of factors that keep it secure. So his presence sort of is, ironically, friendship with the Queen of the Crossroads and the King, because this is one of the places that he can go and bring his family, bring those he loves, and not have to worry about some fucking interplanar people trying to murder him, because he's the a head of a very important organization, which we have yet to meet in this game, but who knows, we may. So speaking of the Crossroads, we will rejoin the Gaffers as they are taking a sleigh ride, as they went through a portal last week. For a bit of a recap, a battle had ensued with a number of Famodians that Neva had tracked into the Tri-Sands. Upon defeating them, a cloaked figure with antlers that Neva recognized as a person that she had been on the hunt with back in the Fae Wilds, also a member of the Spring Court, had come through, briefly had a conflict with the Gaffers before disappearing through the rift. Upon freeing the Famodians, although losing one in the process, the functionally general of the Winter Court Inverness stepped through in all of his icy majesty, claiming that they would safeguard this portal, this gateway into the Fae Wilds, while the rest of you headed into Haven to inform the people there of what was going on. And you were ushered back through the portal by a number of Fae dogs, a corgi, a Boston Terrier, and a pug that are roughly the size of those dogs, in a sleigh, taking you through the Winterlands into the Crossroads itself. Although you have picked up not a stowaway, but definitely an extra character in Thrax, this also winged tiefling with his own corgi dog that seems to be somewhat interested in Tessa, although Tessa has yet to... the words of confirmation have not been shared, although unfortunately, as Will pointed out last time, when you go into row seating and benches, you got to really make sure you count correctly, as Nick has unfortunately been stuck between the two would-be lovers.
One of these days I will roll well on one of those checks, but
But today is not that day.
But it's not this day.
That is yet to be determined.
So we join our intrepid players having gone through the portal and now being firmly into the Winter Court lands. And Neva, these are fairly familiar lands to you. While this court is not your opposite, that would be the Fall Fae, it's not quite possibly one of your favorite places, because this lands embody all that is winter, and it is fucking cold.
Always fucking freezing, but, like, they're familiar because, like, they're our next door neighbors, so occasionally, like, one hunt will cross over into their lands, you're ours, and there's kind of a tacit agreement, like, whatever, it's fine, just get out when you're done.
Yeah. You're here for a purpose, and as long as you're not coming for war, you're fine, and you have, since actually the advent of the Crossroads, you've been in a lot less conflict with them, because the more troublesome, quarrelsome nobles of the Fae courts tend to resolve a lot of the problems within the courts of the Crossroads, this neutral ground, leaving a lot less bullshit for folks like Neva to deal with. But for the rest of you, most of you, except for probably Roscoe and Kiki, this type of cold is very new to most of you. The docks of the sands of Ventos, and certainly Doshnarol, it is bitingly cold for Tessa and for Nick. Neva is not probably thrilled but she is a little hardier and used to these conditions, as these are lands you are somewhat, exist. Roscoe and Kiki, it's cold, but it feels like a blistery cold bullshit winter day that's just like, sure, it's 5 degrees, but with the wind chill, it's probably negative 1,000. And having the sleigh rocketing over hill and dale is not really helping, although the dogs don't seem to mind.
You'll see that Kiki's feathers are all puffed up for warmth to try and capture some of the dead air.
Oh my god, that image!
So she's looking super poofy right now.
Yep.
There's like icicles hanging from Tessa's braids.
Is it like that? Who is it? Not Nick Cage. The guy who was in The Shining.
Jack Daniels.
Yeah. When he's like freezing outside, Jack Nicholson. Yeah.
Yes.
So the pug dog that's in sort of the Gandalf getup looks back and he sees that most of you are dying slowly, and he's like, "Oh right," and he pulls out a flask, and he starts by handing it to Roscoe.
Hit with no questions.
Yeah, you just take it, and you feel a very rich whiskey burn go down your throat, and it clears up your sinuses, but you feel as it goes down the gullet and hits your gut, a warmth comes back out, and you feel not immune to the conditions around you, but definitely not nearly as cold.
I pass it to probably Kiki's next to me.
Probably.
It seems like. So I pass it to Kiki. I'm also going to pull out from my little bindle, which is actually a pretty big bindle, I'm realizing at this point. I mean, one of them, they're bags of holding. But I do have a heavier matching cloak that matches the tartan of my kilt. So I get the wool wrapped around me. I get very snuggly.
Yep. Kiki, the flask is passed to you.
So Kiki would be a little trepidatious because she's pretty sure she heard somewhere that drinking alcohol when you're cold is actually not might not bring
true.
on.
That's very
That
true.
would normally be very true.
Normally.
Neva would tell you, Kiki, it's very magical. Not going to be a problem. You can drink it.
It also was given to you by a talking dog in a wizard hat, so...
So that makes it more trustworthy?
To be fair, it was given to her by me, so maybe very suspicious.
You're a bird with
Yeah.
bombs, so, take it for what it is.
Hey, she takes her risks
Magic.
very selectively. She drinks it.
Right, so it goes down, and the same thing, Kiki feels very warm. Your feathers relax a bit as you feel very comfortable where you are, and it becomes a much more manageable cold.
Mellow Kiki, I'm here for it.
Yep. You don't feel drunk. You feel a little tipsy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you've had probably the equivalent of a shot or two in that little sip that you, trepidation. Yeah. But you definitely feel warmer as you pass it off to somebody else.
I'm probably Tessa. She's looking kind of miserable. She's next to me.
So I definitely take a hit of it with no question as well. And Scoot, does Notion Roll have its own language?
You would speak Infernal. A variant of Infernal.
Okay. So I after I take it and I feel the warmth, I do say something in Infernal under my breath. It's pretty much like, thank fucking God.
And
I believe Nick is next to me, so I'm going to pass it to him.
I think so, yeah. It's it almost spills because Nick's hands are shaking fairly violently, and he's casting Prestidigitate on cooldown, trying to warm his shirt up, which is not you can't warm up living material, but you can warm up clothes.
I've tried that trick before. It doesn't work that well.
It doesn't work that well. He's very cold.
It's very inefficient.
He takes a drink and gets a little bit on his chin because, again, shaking and the teeth chattering. I hand it to the Thrax.
Thrax takes it. He says, "Oh, thank you," and he just passes it to Neva. He does not seem affected by the cold that much.
Neva's not miserable, but she's not terribly comfortable either. So she does also take a sip, and I think that completes all of us. So I'll give it back to Pug.
Right. So he takes it and he just goes, and he takes another big hit, and then he takes out another flask and takes another big hit, This one seems to be more just sipping whiskey than the other one, which is sort of magically inclined. But the Gax take you...
Magically inclined.
The Gax take you on a very, very fast ride. These things are moving quite quick, which is weird, Tessa. You looking at this, like, these Gax are reptiles. They should not move like this through snow. Like, something has sort of modified them or helped them to do this. But eventually you come up to a sort of shimmering barrier amongst all this winterlands. There definitely is snow on the other side. But the sleigh just goes at it. And, Nick, this looks like a solid force wall as it shimmers every now and again. Like, it's not completely there. It's a little opaque. But you, for all of your intents and purposes, you're about to hit a force wall.
Okay, yeah. We get close and I kind of look up and see it. And you see me, like, what's the term? Like, ghost braking or whatever? Like, passenger side braking?
Ghost ride it?
No.
Like,
Backseat
like-
driving. Like doing the thing where like you're stomping on the
You're like
brake.
in the passenger seat and like stomping on the invisible brake. I'm like,
Yep.
You see me flinch.
Yeah, so Pug looks back at you and he genuinely laughs. He thinks this is cute.
Eva is also amused.
Yeah, the Boston...
Tessa's like bracing herself. She's got her shield up. Don't worry, Nick. I've got you.
The
Thank
Boston
you.
Terrier turns and looks, goes, "It's fine, dear." And the Gax hit it. There's a little bit of a lurch as your momentum shifts a little bit going through it, but you do come out pretty quickly and without breaking much stride. As you cross through the barrier, though, you all feel a sense of warmth. Like, the atmosphere and the temperature has changed, despite the fact that it is like a winter wonderland up in this motherfucker. But it feels like it's like 65, 70?
65.
Yeah, feels like it's about 65.
Eva lets
Yeah,
out a sigh
that
of relief
little
and relaxes a little bit more.
Yeah.
These are temperatures she prefers.
Yep. The next thing, though, you see is, as you're going, the ground shakes. And then it shakes again.
Neva looks around for meteors.
There's no meteors.
All right, good.
I was thinking that too.
You're never sure around here.
In the distance, though, is, however, a colossal earth elemental that is just walking the perimeter of this barrier very slowly to your eyes at the moment. And the other thing that most of you are noticing is that it's not so much walking as it is, like, imagine walking through, like, ankle-high water where you've stopped picking up your feet, you're just kind of trudging. That's what it's doing, and the earth is compressing under it, but then just kind of coming back up. And there is a bit of a track where it is, and as you follow it, it definitely goes around the entire perimeter of this place, where the barrier is. But it is just sort of moving, and then it spots you, and then it begins moving very, very quickly. Much more quickly than it should. And it's about, this thing is huge.
Is this a thing that's usually there?
It absolutely is.
Okay, then Neva would not be worried.
Yep. So actually, while Neva doesn't look concerned, the sleigh does get pulled towards the thing, and you are all now rocketing towards this huge elemental.
Reinstall.
Tessa and Nick both just like, guys?
Anxiety is palpable right now.
It's okay. He's meant to be here.
You folks see this colossal, very big stone arm come down, reach under the sleigh, and bring you up to where its face should be. And there is some semblance of a face, although you notice there is, so like the rock formation sort of looks like a face, but there's a painted happy face on it that looks like a real little kid did it.
Amazing.
The paint looks extremely old, and that this thing has had somebody kind of repeatedly touch it up as if it was a very, very basic type of makeup. And its gaze falls on all of you, but it looks at Neva for a moment as a gaze falls there. Do any of you speak Abyssal? No?
No.
Sure, this guy doesn't want to speak some of that. Their primordial, maybe.
Or maybe some infernal, maybe.
Okay.
He would speak primordial. That is
Just
the
checking.
language. Primordial is the language of the elements. If you speak that,
Yeah, I got primordial for you.
okay. He begins to make this rumbling language, and you hear him say, "Neva, Sibling. And
Huh.
it's a very positive, happy greeting, but it's very drawn out. Kind of like the kind of Entish speaking, where they're just sort of, it takes him a long time to say things. And then he begins
And
talking.
you never say anything unless it's worth taking a very long time to say.
And there's our copyright strike. So he then starts, again, speaks in Sylvan this time, which I know Neva will understand.
So Neva does not speak Abyssal, but she does. She's learned like 3 words of it, mostly because of him. And so she blooms a relatively large flower, and kind of puts it between his neck and shoulder joint, because that's the only place it'll ever stay still for long enough.
Just immediately fall off.
Right.
Yeah. And he just seems very happy to see you.
Aww.
If you just give a corsage to an earth elemental.
A colossal earth elemental. It's the
colossal
size of a
earth
small
elemental.
mountain. Neva knows this is one of the guardians that guards the border of the crossroads. There are many forces that guard this place. He is one of them.
Yep.
He guards the borders. This is where those larger Formodians, if they were to somehow get through that barrier, they would have a very angry earth elemental to deal with, which they're probably not going to get back there, and frankly, they'd be lucky to get stopped here.
They'd be lucky to just deal with him.
Yeah. So he looks at you, and he seems. Then it looks like he remembers something, and he goes, "Formodins."
Have they been here? Good.
Seen, and then his hand waves over to back towards where the rift you came through was.
Okay. So in the Winterlands.
And his head shakes and it rumbles as rocks tumble from his joints onto the ground. A bigger one comes down with a poof into the earth.
How many days ago? How many suns?
And he says, 2. And he looks up because it's kind of hard. It's definitely winter mode in the crossroads. So it's hard for him to sort of see the sun.
Right.
But he says, small. And then he goes, horns. And he sort of tries to point at your horns.
The antlers.
Yeah, but he's trying not to crush you.
Yes,
So
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Careful.
We will be. Thank you.
Welcome.
Neva,
back.
Yeah.
you're going to introduce us to your friend?
Scoot, Kate doesn't know his name. Neva would.
His name is very hard to pronounce in his native language. Like, Roscoe could, but Neva doesn't know it. But
Well,
everyone...
I'm really just trying to get you to make me do
Oh,
the primordial voice. That's
Yeah.
this whole bit. So,
So
whatever,
everyone
you tell me
calls
what I need to do.
So you know that everyone calls him Rockman, which was a name that the prince of this place gave him when he was very, very small.
Right. That's also who gave him a face, by the way.
Yeah, that's absolutely who gave him that face.
Obviously.
So
So
when he
everyone-
talks, does the smiley face mouth move?
A little
Or is it
bit.
painted over an actual like mouth?
It doesn't quite line up.
It doesn't quite line up because he has a break where where
Like a
mouth
nutcracker
would be.
more than a...
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
so
there's like a
muffin.
line where the words come out, but like
It's not a proper
mouth,
working mouth.
properly
No.
speaking.
Is it sort of like when a dub does
Yeah,
not quite
more or
line
less.
up?
The sounds he's making when he speaks Sylvan, which is a much faster language for him to speak, it does not. His mouth is sort of open and noise is language is coming out, but it's not like like when you folks talk. This is a colossal ancient being.
This is well, everyone around here calls him Rockman. His true name in Primordial is a little difficult to pronounce if you don't speak Primordial. Rockman, and she says this in Sylvan, this is Tessa, Nick, and Roscoe.
And Kiki.
That's a way.
And Kiki, oh god, how did I miss Kiki? Sorry, Randall was frozen then for a second. And Kiki.
So is his name it's in Primordial, not in Sylvan, which she just spoke.
No, the name that I give you, I say in common, it's Rockman.
Yeah, Rockman.
Kiki
When we
wants
call
to
him in
hear his
Sylvan, we
name.
call him the Sylvan word for Rockman.
Kiki wants to hear his name. His like name.
We all want to hear
His
Scoop
actual-
make the name sound, basically.
His real name?
Yes.
Do you ask him to pronounce his real name?
I tell him that Rockman, one of the smaller ones here, Roscoe, he speaks primordial, and he'd like to know your name.
Okay.
Okay.
All rather small.
Oh, he looks at you, and he seems very delighted by this concept that he can speak to you, and he just goes,
Thank you for having us, bro.
and he nods, delighted, as you folks begin to descend as he puts you back toward the ground. Oh, I was ready for that. Somebody was going to do that to me.
Worth it.
Kiki
Worth it.
Kiki uses her mimicry trait to say his name exactly as he pronounced. So.
Oh, he would be delighted by that.
Yeah, he's like, oh,
like a recording. It's like in his voice too. It's.
He seems pretty thrilled by that. He looks at him and he goes, "Bird."
Kiki has no idea what he said.
He's talking in Sylvan now. Yeah.
Oh.
Kiki, he wanted to. He said bird with a question mark. And I'm gonna tell him a kenku, so a type of a bird. And I reply with that.
So he goes, "Okay, bird." He's having a hard time with it.
He's a
Kiki
K
is
bird.
Very K bird.
Parb.
Kiki's very patient with people learning to pronounce things because she struggled for so long. You
can also call her Kiki, which might be easier.
Bird.
Bird it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Kiki gives him a thumbs.
Yeah, he's not trying to be a dick. He's having a hard time with it.
No, Kiki generally, like so many kinkus, until she got her squawk box around her throat that helps her speak, she could only repeat things, right? Like, or speak in Orin. So she's very patient with people who don't seem to be able to pronounce. Absolutely.
So down you folks go as he lays you very extreme. Like his hand goes into the earth to let you get off, and they crack the whips on, they crack the reins and the gax as they move, and you see him pull his hand out, and it comes up in a big old wave, and as you begin getting out of sight, he goes back to his patrol.
Roscoe definitely turned around in his seat and was waving back. Thought that was a delightful new friend.
Yep.
Welcome to the Fae Wilds.
Welcome to the sanest place in the Fae Wilds, probably. You folks, a couple more hours of travel, and you come across. You've been coming across like every now and again, like farms or outposts or hunting lodges, and people are. It's very much decorated for solstice, but on the horizon you see a town, a very large town, borderline, kind of. It might be a small city. You're not entirely sure. Neva, you know exactly what this place is. You've spent a long time here.
I noticed that Neva looks like decidedly contented to see this place, like in sigh of relief, returning home kind of contentment.
And there is this lovely, picturesque scene. Then there is a crack of lightning as it surges from the town into the sky as someone has cast some sort of spell. Then it goes back to being very tranquil. But you folks begin to make
Roscoe is trying to pay some particular note to Neva's reactions to things while we're in the Fae Wilds. Like, it's very much like, if Neva's stressed, we should all be stressed. If Neva's content, we should all be content. So just
Good assumption.
That's happening right now.
It's not a bad thing. But eventually you come to the borders of... You begin to come to the borders of this town, and you are stopped, though, by pairs of guards. They're always working in pairs. They bear the the sigil of what Neva knows to be this particular area, this kingdom, or I should say queendom, technically, or this land. One, they are complimentary fighters. They stop you for a moment, and they're sort of checking the sleigh, but then they see the dogs and Neva, and they just wave you through. They're like, yeah, go ahead. And then you come into the town proper. So, Deb, would you like to tell the folks what they see?
Sure. So, just a little bit of intro for the audience, and Neva would know this, and Tessa might actually know some of this via her cousins. But as previously mentioned, this town or kingdom is at the intersection of the 4 seasonal Fae courts. It serves as an accorded neutral territory, which is run by Queen Mara and King Ben Stormbringer, and they keep everybody happy and thriving. It's a very safe place, and they have sworn to keep it safe for others, creating a sprawling university that lives up to its name, which is Haven. And as you enter the town, you find yourself in a completely different place than where you previously were in the dry, hot desert. And as you go through, you notice that it is snowing, and despite the fact that it is about 65 degrees. When it hits your skin, you notice that it sparkles with iridescence briefly before dissolving, though if it touches the ground, it adds to the growing snow piles. Each and every house and shop along districts are lit with glowing magical lights of every color surrounding the trees and the shrubs. Decorations such as ribbons, boughs, holly are all along the windows, doors, and lanterns. There are wooden carts set up along the street selling various wares, spiced cider, meats, fruits, and pies, all sorts of delicious meats. And in addition to the smell of baked goods and spices like cinnamon and cloves, there is a strong scent of pine and wood-burning fireplaces. And it seems like almost everyone in town is in a pretty cheerful mood. They're clinking cups together and laughing. Off towards the town square, you can see a giant looming tree in the center with massive ornaments and floating lights. And as you look down some of the smaller streets, you can see smaller versions of this type of triangular shaped tree, also decorated. You can hear energetic violin music playing from a dancing tiefling man in a purple coat, and get the impression that impromptu concerts happen pretty frequently, especially given the way that people are humming and bobbing their heads. I just posted a song in chat to get you in the mood, as well as a full playlist. The houses themselves have been crafted in dwarven and human style, so it gives a very homey and inviting. Each of the shops are unique with ornate signs and decor. The only exception is an old but refurbished elven castle that sits with its back towards an expansive forest and mountain. The town has certainly spared no expense in making sure this is a magical wonderland for residents and visitors alike.
Thank you, Deb. The other thing you folks are noticing is that despite being in the Fae Wilds, there are Fae creatures here. There are satyrs and very sylvan-y elves, very tall, ethereal beings. But there is a boatload of folks from the mortal plane. There are lots of tieflings. There are dwarves. There are also minotaurs and various lichens. As you see, there are also gax. Like, there's this menagerie of people that seem to have gathered here and either are visiting or live here. But eventually the sleigh pulls over. Amina looks over to you, the Boston Terrier dressed in the sorcerer's robes, and she goes, "Okay, loves, you're here. We gotta take the sled back, rentals and all that. But feel free to move out the town. You'll be safe as long as you don't cause any problems." And she looks to Neva and goes, "I'm sure you'll keep them behaved."
I could keep the students in line. I'm sure that I can manage this.
Good luck to
Kiki
you.
checks her bombs. Kiki checks her bomb supply as she says that.
I mean, it is a magical college, so you're not the only one with magical bombs.
Oh, God, no.
Oh, good. Also, all of this splendor is slightly lost on Kiki because she notices that the temperature is quite pleasant, but it's still snowing. So she's trying to work out how that is meteorologically possible. So I know, like magic. So she's
in meta, it's because I hate being cold.
Yeah, the chick that runs this place is a tiefling that does not like being cold, but can only.
She also likes winter.
Yep, and can only fuck with the season so much before nature is not okay with that.
Yeah, you tend to get a pretty big slap on the wrist if you do more than if you do pretty extreme changes in nature.
Yeah, especially the Fae
Right, like if you
Wilds.
make it start snowing like chocolate, it's a problem. If you make it snow in 65-degree weather, manageable.
Yep. So you folks are let off in the main area, let off kind of in the town square as you move off and head into, as the sled moves off the dogs, they head off in towards actually that big castle that Deb had described. So you folks are free to move around the town as you see fit.
So Tessa's pretty much in awe of everything, and she thinks that this is, like, her cousins told her stories about this place, and it's just it doesn't do it justice to see it. So she's just kind of in awe. But she does kind of look around like, okay, this is great. What do we do?
Pug, do...
They're gone.
No, they've already let us out of the sleigh?
They've let you out of the sleigh,
Okay.
and they're taking it back to the rental place.
And they didn't tell us before they left, like, what we're supposed to do with seeing Laura?
Nope.
All right, great. We're walking up to the castle then. That's pretty
Hey,
much it.
while we're here, should we randomly select people within this group and buy them gifts to celebrate Winter's Fest?
Well, it is the winter solstice here, and if you guys would like to participate in that, I'd be more than happy to show you around the town.
I think we should do it, and I think everybody's going to be real cool about it.
We should probably talk to the queen as soon as possible, but
Sure, but you might see something on the walk there
I
and be like, I
can send Pipit up to the castle with a message, and let them know that we'll be there in an hour or so.
Mm-hmm.
Neva, grabs a scrap paper, writes down a quick message, ties it to Pipit's foot, sends it up to the castle.
Off to the castle you go.
Roscoe
We are not
also
going to the
picks
castle.
up
I'm taking
scrap
you into town
paper,
for shopping.
writes down everyone's names, everyone draws a name. It happened.
Excellent.
It happened.
Thank you, Will.
I, for one, know that Kiki would be all about a spontaneous shopping
Wait,
and gift exchange
What a
moment.
surprise! I had definitely not planned ahead for this.
Thank you
So
for
we wanna make
about
sure we
as
have, like, a
ham-handedly
snap-
putting that in there as possible, Will.
I'm picturing like a smash cut montage of like Neva taking everybody like around the town, showing them like everything interesting, and then everybody like splitting up to go buy presents without anybody else looking at them while they do it.
Yes.
Yep,
Mhm.
and you are, as someone does come to find you, Neva, as Pipit returns telling you someone's coming, you hear very familiar footfalls, but it's very soft and padding, as a very big dog shows up for you. You know this gentleman is called Little Sebastian, although he is not little.
No.
He's the equivalent of, for those of you that who play Dragon Age, he is basically a Mabari. Huge, it's as if like a pit bull was the size of a Great Dane. But you do know that he is a confidant of the royalty. He is also their dog, although there is a very big dispute amongst the royal couple about whose dog it is. Technically it's Mora's, but King Bentos...
We know that's not true.
Yeah, King Bentos fell in love with that dog immediately, and now they work out together because its front paw, its chest and front paws are huge. You also know that he's, again, like, sort of one of the people that helps to run this place, and he does have an associate's degree, so he's more than capable of doing
In
it.
siege
He's qualified.
warfare.
Yeah, in siege warfare. Because we rolled the table a couple of years ago, and that's what we got. So he finds you, and he doesn't talk really, but he does, you sort of communicates, but you also can probably speak with animals.
We speak with animals.
So he comes up to you and he just goes in a very deep boof, because he's on official business.
Hello, Sebastian. It's good to see you.
Boof. Greeting boof.
Greeting booth.
Yeah.
Will they be able to see us today?
Unknown boof. Mara has been drinking look.
They're doing, oh god, they're doing the tree today, aren't they?
And then he nods.
Are they arguing over who gets to put the star on top this year?
He nods.
Don't they every year say, we're going to alternate from year to year, and then the next year have the exact same argument again?
He nods.
I'm going to give you some scratches because I think you need it.
He takes them. Now, do you want to cast Speak with Animals to talk to him, or do you want to just keep going like this?
Well, so one of the features of Neva as a dryad is that she can communicate simple messages, and they can communicate back simple messages. It's just not like full speaking. So yeah, she might as well cast Speak with Animals at this point.
Okay. And he just goes, "I was waiting for you to do that." He still is accepting those crutches. He goes, "Yes, the queen will be disposed, although Lord King Bentos can meet with you if you wish."
That'd be fine. If it's not too much of a bother or an imposition on his schedule, could we have about half an hour and then we'll be right there?
Sure, I'm sure there'll be and there is a large crack of thunder again as he looks towards the castle. He goes, "I feel as if the debate has ended, and I'm sure he will have some free time."
We'll see you in about half an hour, Sebastian.
Yeah, and he goes, "I'm going to get a ham sandwich now. You have a good day." And he walks into a bistro where he comes out with a bag, and he heads up towards the castle.
The name of the bistro is Get Stuffed. That is the go-to sandwich spot around here.
Yep. So you spend the remainder of your time kind of going around shopping. However, I need everyone to roll me perception checks, please.
Oh, do you now?
I do.
This is pretty deep for the first roll. That's exciting.
Oh, Neva.
It's okay. I have advantage on it. 29.
7.
Tessa got a 4. As
Everyone's
usual.
doing so well.
Tessa, you and I are always like.
Hey, 26.
Neva, continue to notice shit.
Good
As
lord.
is tradition.
It's so pretty.
Everyone else is this again. It's a huge city. There's so much to see. I think Nick and Tessa find this place called the Strip Mall. It appears to be a strip club, but like all of the poles are shaped like Great Malls. So there's like a head of like a morning star at the bottom, and then a very long pole going up. So you two have kind of bumped into each other and found yourself there. Kiki, you found this place called Isix, and it's run by a very tall Fae gentleman. He looks a lot like the guy you saw in the desert, like very snowy and white. But instead of being a sort of regal armor of that very clearly denotes someone who is of high rank, he's in nice clothing, but he's in like sort of overalls, kind of posh overalls, and he is with goggles on his head, much like tinkerers you've seen. As he's actually working on an automaton man is on his workbench as he is tinkering with it, and he like pulls off the arm, messes with something in the joint, and puts it back on. Roscoe, you see a blue tiefling gentleman that seems to be walking around and sort of enjoying himself, but you hear him speaking with an accent very, very similar to Tessa's. He's probably from Doshnaral, but he's but the odd thing about him is at some point there's a bunch of kids that are kind of moving around and trying to enjoy themselves. One little girl drops her snow cone on the ground, and the other ones sort of run off, not noticing. And she's there, and she looks very sad. So he kind of looks around, walks over, tells her to come over to him, and he goes and releases a draconic breath weapon that makes her, and he's able to control it surprisingly well, as he like double stacks a snow cone for her. That she then runs to the guy who was selling them, and he puts more flavor on it for her, and she runs off. Neva, you notice somebody that you have seen before.
Who do I notice?
Taking a picture of the cat.
No, I'm depositing a check in a mobile banking app.
Fair enough. It's a certain short tiefling that you saw at the Von Lyken party.
Oh God.
It is Dala.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh, Will's expression right now.
And she appears
I
to
wish
be...
they wish the audience could see this.
She appears to be shopping, kind of moving around. She has not seen you, as she's looking at various items, and she also seems to be trying to pick out a present, or buying a number of things. But you definitely see her.
I'm going to slip away before she sees me.
Make a stealth check, please. Oh no.
I'm not going to make it, am I?
Try. You can certainly try, and you should try.
I do not make it.
Oh, that's a nat 1, and she rolled not a nat 1, so she notices you. She sees you, And she goes, "Excuse me.
Yes.
You are the Dryad, right, from the Von Lycan party."
Yes. You are Dala, correct?
Yeah, but you eventually you get away from her, and you probably bump into Nick and Tessa sort of standing outside the strip mall, which you know what the strip mall is. You lived in this town for a while, and they're sort of looking
Tessa's
into the window.
definitely watching a actual goat do a stripper routine from her horns, just spinning around one of the poles.
It takes a lot of
wondering-
strength.
Just wondering what the hell is that?
Much so I'm loath to interrupt your distraction here, Tessa. We should probably gather back up. They have actually said word that they can see us in the castle in about half an hour or so.
Sure, I'm just entranced by this.
Yeah,
and you
what
do
is
see there is this long horn
happening?
goat that is locked onto a pole and is just rotating by the horn, and just doesn't seem to be like you're not sure how the goat is propelling itself, but it is just going.
Wait, is this a goat or a goat person?
It's a goat, like the animal.
Oh, it's just
like
a goat.
just a goat.
Yeah.
Neva tells them, I'm sorry to ruin the magic of it for you, but as it happens, it's the pole that spins, not the person on it.
Okay,
Wrong
but
goat?
that doesn't answer any of my questions.
Nick and Tessa are just standing there like heads cocked to the side like dogs. Yeah.
Right, let's table
what?
this for now.
What
All
is?
right.
So from behind you two come some very large furry hands that clap you on the shoulders. You turn around to see a large bear person dressed in a kilt with a sort of shield on his back. And he looks at you and he goes, "Well, hello there, friends. How are you all doing today? My name's Bob. I am the proprietor of this establishment. Would you all like to come in? It is Taco Tuesday."
Ooh. Wait,
Bob,
no,
most
focus.
of the offer is appreciated. We do actually need to...
Eva! I didn't know you were
Yep.
back in town.
I've only just gotten back.
No, I do. Are you going to be along? Because Blanche is having a heck of a time with the rose bushes.
Oh, I can come by later this evening.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, if you folks want a show, Addie, get off that pole. And he just starts yelling at the goat. The goat does not respond to him, but he's just sort of
Circling
yelling.
around.
Yeah. Addie, we talked about that. I gotta go talk to Addie real
All
quick.
of a sudden, this all makes sense to Neva. Like, she has this expression of like, oh, okay, now it's reasonable.
Yeah. I guess I'm very sorry. I gotta get her off the stage. So if you folks all come back now, okay, great. And he walks in and he's just like, Addie, and he puts his hands on his hips, sort of like a dad would, as he just is yelling at this goat. Neva's gonna make this. I would like Nick and Tessa to make a perception check as you're sort of walking away, but maybe looking into the door a bit.
I got a 19.
I got a 6.
Okay, Nick, you're just like, how in the fucking goat? He knows the goat? Okay. You're still very confused. Neva will see this, of course, because Neva knows who this is. Tessa, you will see the goat eventually as the bear sort of just like, come on now, shifts into a small tiefling druid. Has sort of antlers, sort of like Neva does, but very satyr-like legs. And they begin to have a conversation. And the tiefling is eventually coaxed away with gushers.
Yep.
On brand.
Yep. You folks, so we'll cut to Kiki. So Kiki, you found this shop. And you can see the gentleman inside. You can see him through the window as he's working on something.
So Kiki would probably be like a small child with her like eyes and beak like pressed up against the glass because she sees him working on an automaton. Like she would probably forget to go inside for a moment or two because she would be riveted by this, and then she'd probably shake herself and then go inside.
Okay, so there is a bell that rings as this little sort of Roomba robot comes up to you with it has a card on it that says, "How can I help you?"
Kiki would let out a squeak of just absolute excitement. And she would be like, "Hi, Kiki. Shopping." I think she probably lost her train of thought because she's so excited by all the mechanisms around and what's going on.
So it has little kind of like bug eyes as antennas that come up, and it just nods, and it spins in place and zooms, and you hear it chirping as it goes into sort of another part of the area, like there's a wall separating where people are walking into where that guy was working by the window. So it buzzes and he gets up and he kind of pokes his head through. Oh, hello. Oh, hello. Welcome to my shop, dear customer. My name is Isaac. How can I help? And you can see he is beautiful. Like, he is properly Fae and ethereal, but he is sort of covered in grease, like proper grease monkey grease. Like, he's been working on this thing and probably been hit by an oil pan at least once today. As you can see, the remnants that he's cleaned off.
So I want listeners to know I've been really trying to struggle to figure out Kiki's like orientation and thought she might actually be like Ace, but I think she is actually like sapiosexual. She's probably just like she's probably seeing this like beautiful person, like gender didn't register, but like a beautiful person covered in grease who is just working on an automaton, and this might be her like spring awakening, even though it's winter. Like, I think she's just like she is like crushing hard. I think it might just be like a brain crush.
And
she
the
is just
Hallmark
like
movie has started
completely
according to plan.
Now that said, she's going to continuously look over her shoulder because she's actually interested more in the automaton. like she's just like, what?
Imagine her like this beautiful being, but that beautiful being. As she catches an eye.
She's like, hi, Kiki, and like she doesn't even like try to hide it. She just keeps craning her neck and like looking at the automaton.
So he takes a look at you and he sees your tools. He goes, "Oh, are you a crafter?"
Yes.
Would you like to come see what I'm working on?
She makes this like weird like bird noise cackle intake, and she just nods and like yes, please.
So he leads you to the back and he pulls out a chair. He pulls out a stool that Kiki can stand on. It looks it's made to be for slightly shorter beings. He's pretty tall. So he helps you out there, and you can see he has the chest cavity of this automaton open, and he's just working on the inner mechanics. Like, a lot of the plates are open that will allow him access to the finer moving parts. And he goes, "Have you seen automatons or warforges before, my good Kinku?"
I guess she has.
You've seen warforges, and automatons are a little less common, but you've definitely seen warforges being around Thunderblade.
She's like, yes, not so close though. Oh. Like, and she kind of peers, like she practically sticks her whole beak inside.
Wait, hold on. And he does touch you to kind of pull you back very gently. He goes, "One moment," and you see him mutter an incantation as the automaton shuts down.
Kiki almost got electrocuted.
A little shoulder touch action.
Yeah, it's like it's very light. Like, I would prefer to ask your consent for this, but you can potentially hurt yourself. Now I need to move you so I can shut down the potentially dangerous churning robot.
Still counts as a shoulder touch.
Yep.
Yeah, she is just peering, and then she actually she tries to look around the back of the automaton, just because she is very curious if it's got any kind of like wings or flying devices, because she's geeky.
Well, it's laying on a table.
It's laying down.
Yeah,
okay.
When he sees you, he does he pulls a lever, and it moves up into like a recovery position to give you more of a look. And it's very basic. It looks like he's building a framework. And he goes, "Well, this is what I refer to as a Jarvis. It is a sort of a helper. It does a lot of different things. They're one of my best-selling models."
Kiki has her notebook out and has forgotten to ask permission if she can sketch. Not out of like rudeness or being shifty. She's just so enthralled, and she's like, and then she realizes what she goes, "Oh, is this okay? Okay."
He nods and he goes, "You know,
okay.
Take a lot of automatons are built very similar. But the secrets are on the inside." He says, smiling at you.
And then she just kind of like is mesmerized, and she kind of walks around it, and she goes, she doesn't know how to ask this because she thinks it's kind of will sound stupid, but she's like, "Can fly? Will fly?"
We could make it fly. There's ways to do that. Sometimes with magic, sometimes with pieces. Though this is a heavier version, more for battle, so it's not as likely to fly. It's very heavy. Now, are you interested in things like this, my good Kenku, my good Kiki?
Kiki is, of course, interested, but she's like, there's no way she could actually afford it. And then she explains, Well, yes. Tinker, want to know knowledge. Yes, but shopping for friend. Yes.
That's a very fine pursuit. Now, I love helping new tinkerers, he says, as he puts on he's kicking up the charm now. I love helping new crafters and inventors, especially ones that I assume you're from the mortal plane. I haven't seen you around the town before.
No, first time. Are you new in town? I can't wait. I want to point out, Kiki is 15 years old, and he's basically like immortal, so let's just... Yeah, right? Like, I think this Hallmark movie has just changed a bit.
That's not where it's going. He understands that. It's not a bad guy. He goes,
now it's a Lifetime movie.
Cautionary tale.
Different tone.
It's an after-school special.
Lighting shift. New lens.
It's my Shyamalan twist. But he goes, so I have been known to be a patron of crafters from time to time. Have you ever heard about making deals here in the Fae Wilds?
Kiki.
Niwa
I don't
specifically told me
remember.
not to make deals.
Did she? I thought she had. And
You have
she...
to listen to her. That is the only thing you've
That's
heard.
true. Kiki goes, yes?
Okay. No, I enjoy. So I myself am a quite powerful Fae. I don't mean to brag, but I have found much enjoyment in helping various mortals. You're a very entertaining lot, and you can do great things. And I enjoy being a part of that. But very clearly, you have a gift, my Kinku. I can see it. And with a small pact, I could impart with you some knowledge, some more skill, opportunity, materials.
Kiki's like teacher? Like she gets the general gist, but all she has as a basis of reference was the gnome tinker who took her in and taught her.
It would be based on the nature of our agreement, of course. Of course, we'd have to lay out the terms, obviously. I don't mean you any shady harm. There's something about you, Kiki, that there's a spark of greatness behind your eyes, behind your very inquisitive eyes, and I think that should be fostered. So I could be a teacher, a supplier, a confidant. I've made some patents in my time.
Kiki now is like, this feels weird to her now. Like before, she was just mesmerized by all of the mechanisms, and she wasn't expecting he's coming on very strong. Yes, sus. Hashtag sus. As Will is putting in the chat. Yes.
Most
sus. Yeah. So. So my friends are giving meta advice. They're like, no, don't trust the Fae. So Kiki will sort of back away slightly, and unconsciously she might put her hand on one of her bombs in her. I don't think she's just a little bit I think the word supplier felt weird to her. Because she's just used to she needs metal, she's got her tools.
So he notices this, that you feel uncovered. He goes, I don't mean to cause any uncomfort. You're more than welcome to look at anything in the shop you'd like for the study of the automaton. I just think, we could strike a deal if you'd like. And he physically he backs away from you, not to attack you, but he sees you're just covered and wants to give you space to show I'm not trying to threaten you. He's attempting to be genuine, but he sees that you're uncomfortable. He's like, all right, I'll just give you your space.
Okay, thanks. And Kiki backs away, pretends to look at an object in the store, and then it's like, bye-bye, and she goes, so she's just basically stranger danger kicked in. She's very much she otherworldly pacts and stuff, she doesn't trust many people.
She's got good instincts.
No, well, it's actually just her default. She's learned to trust the party, but there's like that's like head and shoulders above what she's used to. Like her teacher and a few friends of her teachers, her mentors. That's about it. So she kind of like she goes out and she wants to like ask like Neva or Tessa, like one of her big sisters. She's kind of like, what the fuck was that about? So she's like, she will think about it, but she's a little like, yeah.
So Roscoe, you see that gentleman that makes the snow. Are you going to do anything with that, or are you just going to let him kind of move about his day?
I remember I will like make a special note to remember his face, and like, do he and I make eye contact or anything? Like, I wouldn't go over to him.
Yeah, so you see him do that, and he kind of looks around to see if anybody saw him, and he sees that you saw him, and he just sort of nods at you, and he's like, kids.
I'm sure it was very interesting, but your sound dropped out as soon as you started talking, so
says,
I have no idea what he did.
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Okay.
It didn't drop for me.
It didn't drop for me either.
Yeah, I think it's all Will
That's
said.
weird.
So he looks at
someone
you,
in
and
my
he's
head.
like, kids, because he sees that you saw him do that. But he doesn't approach you. He just, kids, what are you going to do?
That's what you do. That's a nice move there.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Enjoy the solstice, he says as he moves off.
Cheers.
At this point, you see Kiki is like beating cheeks or bird cheeks to like just tear acid from somewhere. And Kiki, you see Roscoe in the street.
She goes up, hi. How's shopping?
Good. I think I got everything I need. Are you good to go?
She switches to orange. She's like, yeah, and so she can talk more freely. And she's like, yeah, I think
Yep.
so. Got offered some deal, some pact. Some guy with the Tomtons, like so cool, like the equipment and stuff. But it was like, whoa, just got here. Okay, yeah, okay. Let's find the others. she just like spews all this in
Does-
orange to you. Like,
Would Roscoe be able to pick up on any kind of like difference between like regular? Because Kiki, in Roscoe's mind, is always running like, I use this phrase too much, but a low grade fever version of frantic. Would I be able to pick out this is a higher spike than the regular low grade fever frantic? Do you think?
I mean, she wouldn't be trying to hide it. Like, it's just whether you would notice or not, I guess, is it.
I'm gonna roll it. Let's
Sounds
see.
like an
if I
insight
get-
check to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see what I.
See if Roscoe is paying attention. Do. While he rolls that.
10. No, I probably don't. It's probably just like, but you're good now? You good?
Yeah.
All right. Let's find everybody else.
You folks do eventually find it's very easy for Neva to track you here, and you do make your way up to Castle Haven. Once you get there, yes, Roscoe.
I thought we were doing our present exchange
Can
first.
I now?
It's whatever you folks like. You can do a present exchange at the inn, but you said a half an hour to Lord Ventos, and
Sure,
by the
so we
time
do
it
have
was
to do that.
eventually make your way up to Castle Haven, where you see a gentleman that you remember from the Von Lycan party, Lord Bento Stormbringer, the king of this particular area. He's in very festive garb, a lot of greens and reds, sort of snow patterns. His hair is slightly singed. You do notice that, but he does come down, and he goes, Neva. Good to see you here. We didn't expect you for the solstice, but you did love it for the most part.
Yes. It didn't plan to come back here, Lord Ventus, but we did actually come on. It's conveniently timed for the celebration of the holiday, but we did come on rather serious business.
Yeah. Before we start that, though, are you going to take part in the grand snowball melee?
Oh, absolutely.
Wonderful. Now,
Lord Ben, have you ever missed it?
we were hoping you wouldn't this year, so come with me. And he leads you into a small audience chamber with tables, and he sits you all down, and he goes, so, Neva, tell me what happened. Pug told me a little bit, but...
Amina had sent us word of a possible inactive Fae gate in the Trisands, in some ruins there. The Trisands being a large desert region along the continent of Ventos.
Prema.
We
Ventus
arrived
is where Nick is
there, expecting to find an inactive gate to figure out if there was any way to make it active. It had already been activated. It was, in fact, being powered by 4 chained Famodians. We were able to release and save most of them. They were chained against their will, clearly. The individual who seemed to have masterminded it appears to be at least a former, if not present, member of the hunt from the Spring Court. I've hunted with him before. I don't know the state of things in the Spring Court currently. We were able to secure the gate, at which point Lord Invernus came through to set up further warding. I believe the gate, in fact, opens into... He's now set the gate such that it opens into Winterlands. I don't know where the original rift was.
Well, it's in good hands at least. That's fucking concerning. At least when looks around.
Hoping to go to the Spring Court and speak to the Lord there as well. Have there been changes?
No, there has been politicking, as there always is.
It's Fae. There's always politicking.
Right.
Of what variety?
There is a very large dispute over a very old oak tree, and he looks at you as if this... And Neva understands this in theory could either be like...
It is serious. Like, this is life or death serious. Like, Neva does not, like, smile at this, like, oh, those silly Fae are... She's like, which one?
The acorn oak, or I believe that's the one he calls it. He's trying to remember.
The first oak?
Yeah. The one that always blooms first.
Right.
When spring comes.
Who's trying to lay claim to it?
He thinks. So there's the pixies are talking about it. The pixies from the blossoming court. There's the Council of Grass. The tree shepherds. There's a lot of people. Just I don't know why, but they've just decided that they're going to make this a thing, and they're going to begin fighting over it. It hasn't come here for resolvement yet, but we think it will because the Spring Court, the High Spring Court, are getting very tired of this particular fight because no one wants obviously no one wants the tree removed. No one is claiming ownership of it, or it might be particular. I don't know. Like it's just, and he seems exacerbated by this.
It's not designed to be owned. That is very intentionally designed to be an independent entity.
No. Kate, you can't pun like that in the middle of serious politics.
Yes, you can do it. Embrace the darkness.
You hear a cackling from...
So it is, in fact, designed to be independent and above the politicking of the courts. There are certain things which are held sacred, and Fae don't hold many things sacred, but that's one of them.
Right. So there actually are... we will probably be having word in a few days if the Lord of the Spring Court will be sending the complainants here for adjudication. So if you are willing to hang out, you will probably meet some of them, and you can speak with them and gather information.
I would be happy to assist.
And of course, there will be a representative from your Lord's Court to oversee the final decision that is rendered here. We're just trying to figure out who to put in charge of that one. Technically, it might be Oddball. He's not a very good judge because he's very distractible.
He is, however, the least likely to be swayed by persuasive arguments, which is actually useful in this particular case. He's more likely to decide on, well, I was going to say the merits, but really it's his gut. But his gut is fairly good.
It's fairly large, he says.
Considering your options, Pug will just yell at them. Amina will get in debates with them. Oddball is probably your best bet.
The last time he was holding court, he was eating a dead bird during court.
Kiki blanches at this a little bit.
That's not surprised.
He looks down. He's like, "I'm sorry," and he sees he sort of he sees Kiki for the first. He's like, "I'm very sorry, Miss Kingu." But it's what he
She doesn't say anything. She just is like, ugh.
Yeah. But I may be
Like, where did you bring me to, Neva?
First you try and serve me eggs for breakfast.
She's like, someone's trying to sell me a pact. Now I'm hearing about birds being eaten raw in court. She's like, I don't know about this.
To be fair, birds are eaten everywhere, so Kiki probably is someone used to this.
No, I'm teasing. Yeah, Kiki is already writing a bad Yelp review.
Yeah, so
For Haven.
his head is in one of his hand. He goes, "I may preside over this myself, because Mora will be on a vacation for a while, as is her want. She's getting together with the girls. I don't know if they're going to leave the penultimate post for a couple of days, but if they're going to the lake house, I'm just not sure. But it's been a while since she's seen them."
I'll and obviously I won't make a decision without my companions here, but I'm inclined to stay for the adjudication. You all are welcome to stay or to travel on.
Tessa looks
I know you'd
thrilled.
express some interest in him.
She's got stars in her eyes. She's like, "Oh my god, Mom, can we?"
Right, I think we're staying then, Lord Ben.
Nick kind of takes a deep breath and trial. That's what we'd be at.
It's not a criminal
It's not
thing.
a trial. No one is placed on trial for something like this. It's more there is a neutral mediator is a better term than judge, really. It's someone who listens to all of the arguments and decides if anybody has the claim to the thing in question.
Yes, the courts like the word trial because it sounds more dramatic, and he rolls his eyes at this.
Nick visibly relaxes a little bit.
Neva definitely notices.
You are all
yes,
welcome.
She does.
You're all welcome to stay, Neva. I believe we could, if they are friends of yours, of course. We could probably house them maybe at the college, or there's some. I mean, everyone's on break, so there will certainly be beds for them.
If there's space available at the college, I certainly wouldn't complain. Besides, I think some of my more magically inclined companions would be delighted to have a chance to explore the college a little bit.
Sure. Would they like to be sorted? He says, smiling at you.
I think they absolutely would. Although I should warn you, Kiki is probably going to try and figure out how the sorting works.
If you find out, please tell me, because I don't know.
We can set aside time to go to the university, because while we were doing some shopping, I stopped by and actually picked up a pamphlet of all of the community classes. So if we have the time, I was kind of already planning to go and sit in on a couple of courses. Yeah.
Shall we take you off your sabbatical for a semester? He says, looking at Neva after hearing that. Or would you like to teach again? You're more than welcome to. We'd love to have you back. Just for a semester.
I will be remaining on my sabbatical and traveling with these companions of mine, but I'm sure when it's all done, there is a strong likelihood that at least Nicholas here will be doing more than just auditing some classes.
Yeah, so he looks at you, Nicholas, and he looks you up and down and goes, "You found one with potential."
I do that on rare occasions.
Nick positively sparkles.
Does he literally sparkle?
The dour Nick concerned about going to courts from 2 minutes ago is gone.
Yep, and it's a very odd group you have, Neo, if you don't mind me saying. Two angelics, a wizard, and a kinku.
Yes, let me give you some more in the way of introduction here. This is Nicholas. He is a young wizard. This is Kiki. She is quite the tinkerer and artificer.
Perhaps she should meet Isaac then if she hasn't. That's sort of
I should definitely take her by that shop later. Let's see. And Roscoe,
Sorry, I love Randall's face of Kiki like.
Kiki's eyes just go big. She doesn't say anything yet.
Roscoe is also a caster in his own right, although of a different sort.
Yeah, the
And
spear threw me on that. He says, looking at the
you've
huge
met
boar
more
spear.
than a few of Tessa's cousins, as you know. The wings with
Right.
tiefling horns might incline you to believe.
Oh, you're a Benkala. You're another one, he says, in the way that teachers say that once they hit like the fourth kid in the family.
It's another Weasley.
Yeah.
Red hair, hand-me-down clothes,
Oh my gosh. Tessa as a Weasley.
cookies in between them. Must be a
It
Benkala.
totally makes sense. It definitely makes sense.
Now, is the other tiefling gentleman a Benkala as well?
No, his name is Thrax, and we've recently acquired him.
Oh,
Not slavery. He just
no,
decided to join us.
obviously. And he's just like, just kind of sits there with Bosco in his arms, like, yeah, I'm just here for the ride, man. He says as he's like now in front of Fae royalty, not really expecting that to be a thing he was going to do today. And this time he's managed to sit next to Tessa, and he's just staying very quiet but very close to Tessa.
He's up to date on all his shots. The dog is also fine.
Oh well, we love canines around here.
Yes.
Now,
Well
would
aware.
you like to? Would you like them to use the baths or anything? I don't know how folks you've been on the roads.
Why don't we plan to do the sorting now? But I think we'd rather just get somewhere quiet to sit down for a bit rather than going through the. I'll take them to the bathhouses later.
Wonderful. Well, the sorting is off for a little while. We'll have to do that. Probably when the term gets closer to coming back in. It's been a few days.
I assume the adjudication and the beginning of term will be happening around the same time. So I imagine you guys are going to be quite chaotic in the next week or so.
There's another loud thunder crack from outside, and he goes, "We can handle it."
I have no doubt.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tessa, I forgot to mention, there is some delegates from Doshnaral are here for the holidays. A Mr. Razalisk and a Dala? I'm not sure if you have met them via your family.
We did, yes, at the Von Lycans party, you'll recall.
Right. I was very drunk, he says, after we killed all those people. Those demons.
Let's. Are they also staying at the college?
No, they're at an inn in town, I believe. They're just shopping around. Something for
right.
Rain and Lana.
Why don't we go get we'll get settled at the college. Where do you want us to take one of the visiting adjunct houses, or are we dorming?
No, just dorming.
Thank
Take one of the houses. They will put them on your tab, he says, smiling.
How has Hunter been, by the way?
Well, he's still
He
hasn't
hasn't
asked
started
out.
a new mark, has he?
No, he hasn't been that foolish, although there's a pool going on. He's going to actually ask Keo out, but hasn't done it yet, so the pot just keeps growing if you want to pick up a new day.
We lost Will.
He'll be back.
I'll put in 10 gold for. Can I put in a spread of days or only one?
Depends on how much gold you put down, but we'll take care of that later. Maybe not in front of your new friends that don't know the situation.
Oh, I was going to put it down just for me.
He doesn't want you making bets about an inside bet in front of other people that don't know what's going on.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'll go get us settled in then, and thank you, Lord Ben. We'll be here when the adjudication starts.
Fun, he says, as he.
Oh, sucks.
Yep. He bows to all of you, and he says, "Please enjoy your time in the crossroads, and I hope you enjoy the season." And he then leaves and heads back upstairs. As you folks leave the keep, you are brought once again into a very large courtyard, very decorated, and you are free to move about as you wish.
You may have heard Lord Ben mention it, but I rather like this holiday quite a bit, and I would be quite happy to exchange gifts with you all forthwith, unless you'd like to take baths first, eat dinner first.
Do we at least have a place where we could? I'm not gonna lie. I want to lean into it. I would like for us to be sitting around like a nice big fireplace, and I would like some sort of warmed, boozy cider made available or produced by me if need to be.
Right, heading to the house then. So basically, like, the college at Haven has a number of houses for visiting professors. So Neva's literally just you guys are gonna get a house. You're gonna hang out there for however long. It's a nice house, like a nice little, like,
Gaffer house.
Oh God.
Little villa situation.
Oh.
Got a fire pit.
Mm-hmm.
There will be both a fireplace inside and a fire pit outside, which you can totally sit and hang at because, again, it's 65 degrees while snowing outside.
Yes.
You are all about to learn that Roscoe, because we all inevitably write ourselves into our characters in some way. Roscoe and Will share a very specific fucking love of rocking chairs and Adirondack chairs.
Oh, you should see the Adirondack chairs I have on my roof. They're made out of old
It's
skis.
cute. Oh,
Oh,
I love a good ski chair.
Yeah.
A little
We have
mural
two
back. Nothing
chairs.
wrong
Yes.
with it.
It's got
Spindly
two
legs, thick legs. Oh, they're all beautiful in their own way. But it's the kind of thing where, like, I've got to, like, look underneath and see how they're, like, joined together and be like, all right, pretty fucking cool. Set it down.
I'm gonna have to
Let's
look
try
at
it
my
out.
link.
When my parents went and visited Montreal, and in Montreal there is a replica of the Basilica of Notre Dame. My mom, Neva will lead you guys towards one of the houses. Although as you're walking over there, she's definitely going to kind of just, like, walk alongside Nick for a little bit, and ask him rather quietly, "Are you okay?"
yeah, what do you mean?
The court.
Eh,
Don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
You remember I said that I was my wizard, my mentor saved me from a court, said that I was pretended I was his apprentice to get me out of trouble.
Right.
It was on solstice, and it was my third offense for this same crime, breaking and entering. So the
Third strike laws.
judge there was a real hard ass, so I was up for life. Not fond memories.
I am glad that particular wizard came along, and I hope that on this particular solstice we can create you some far better solstice memories.
I've had some good solstices, but thanks.
I'd still like to one-up them. Speaking of which, remind me tomorrow when we all have a bit more time. Show me that pamphlet you picked up and the courses you're interested in. And I can tell you which ones are actually worth auditing and which ones aren't worth it.
Oh, that would be so helpful. He kind of like pulled out the pamphlet to start to show you, and then realizes like there's not enough time to go over this right now, and you can see he's highlighted like
into a house.
yes, but you can see just a glimpse. He's highlighted like all but 4.
One of those kids.
Yeah.
You folks enter this beautifully decorated home. It has a very Hobbit feel, but it's like that kind of homely, that very much homeness. Cozy. There's fireplaces, as Neva had said. Sort of like a cabin up in the mountains, Airbnb feel, or as we say around here, Airbnb. You folks have enough to have your own room, although there is one room that is very clearly built for like mom and dad. And then there's like one other room that has it's one of those situations where it's built to house a couple of people, but sometimes it's even knows like families come here, or
right.
Multiple professors will share a house because that's just how it works. There's one room that's sort of like a master bedroom for like mom and dad. There's like 1 or 2 other side rooms, and there's one room that just has like 4 bunk beds. It's again made for capacity because sometimes professors come with children, and like that's where they're going to be.
Neva is, as usual, planning to sleep outside, which will lead to a very hilarious moment tomorrow when you guys go to, like, when Neva wakes up tomorrow, she will be covered with snow. Like, she is used to this. This is, in fact, what she does every solstice, and she's delighted by the fact that she's going to get to wake up covered in snow.
Aww.
Kiki makes a beeline for the bunk beds, and she
Neva
goes
is, like,
from
all
one
I
to
was about to say, Nick sees that, goes top bunk, and throws his backpack up.
I noticed there are two of them. Two.
There are
You
two
said there were
of
two.
them. You're just
Okay.
sitting
I
at the
feel
top
like
there.
Kiki, in order to make sure that she achieves a top bunk, is gonna like activate her boots of flight just to like jump high enough to
100%.
like fly in.
100%. She's just gonna be like,
Nick and Kiki bolt using magic items and actual magic to get them. You both cling to them. You're like, oh, there's two of them. Oh,
I am walking past, and I kind of just like pat Tess on the shoulder, almost like conspiratorially. It's very like, kids, right? As I pull out off air, I put some real effort into making myself a hammock,
He did.
which I am
He
now
did.
going to string between the two top bunks.
Yeah.
Even though there is an open bottom bunk, I have just built myself a third top bunk between the
Top bunk.
two.
I like how there's so many rooms in this giant house and you're all just in the same.
No, but it's winter.
It's
guys.
good.
It's
Kids
cozy
to
enough.
wear flannel and snuggle
Oh.
and string
Kiki
popcorn.
casts Mage
Cuddle,
Hand, and
cuddle.
she casts Mage Hand, and she rocks you, and
I love it. I think that's
she's
so
here
nice.
for it.
so Thrax.
Wait. I also cast Mage Hand and give Kiki's Mage Hand a fist bump, and we can take shifts.
I thought you were gonna like turn him over. I thought you were gonna flip him over.
Just dump him out.
Even
Neva, while
bigger
everybody else
twist,
is doing this,
I cast Mage Hand.
And we did rock,
push
paper,
it from the other
scissors.
side, so there's almost no rocking at all.
I'm loving this.
while everybody else is doing this, Neva is getting a fire started in the fireplace downstairs.
So Thrax is just sort of watching all of this, and he's delighted by these family
shit.
shenanigans.
I pull Nick aside.
I
He does
lean over
usually
to the
not.
hammock.
He does eventually, like, he smiles and he watches that he moves off because he's like, he has to go take Bosco out to let him go, like, pee in the yard and kind of romp around a bit.
Oh fuck! Oh fuck!
What's
oh
up?
fuck! Oh fuck!
What's
I
wrong?
didn't put Thrax's name in the hat. We're about to do a
maybe
gift
he and-
exchange, and no one has Thrax.
Maybe he and Bosco can exchange
Okay,
gifts.
okay. Gift from all of us? We can
But
put
that's
something
gonna
together.
Feel like it's gonna feel very door prizey.
Oh, I mean, you're
We got you a mug.
wrong.
Oh, it's gonna be
The world's
a
best other
customized
tiefling.
mug, just not customized for you.
I'm here for Nick and Roscoe feeling awkward.
Oh shit!
They're scheming.
So, you guys do realize that Neva, being utterly obsessed with Solstice, has like several backup presents, right?
No, we definitely do not.
They have
And
no
you guys
idea.
should absolutely
I
bring this to
will.
Neva because she'll be like, "Oh no,
That's a good idea, actually. Yeah, I think we probably would run to Neva and be like, "Okay, do you have any ideas?"
I feel like
What
there's
are we gonna
the
do?
Three,
Yes.
The three kids are in the room. Like,
I'm-
oh fuck, and they're trying to come up with these wild.
And
schemes.
I'm
Hear
holding.
you guys, you know.
I'm holding the
still
funnel.
there.
yeah.
I'm
Tess
just
is also
holding the
there.
funnel. And be like, is this Winter's Crest? Is
Yeah,
this
bitches
solstice?
love funnels.
Is this how you solstice?
So Tessa, you've been watching the room happen, and like as when you saw when Thrax left, that like Roscoe's like fuck, and you're in the room, like you're there.
I can hear everything
Yeah.
you're saying. I'm like, oh, I actually saw the perfect thing on the way here. I can take care of it.
Great.
Good visual bit, Will. It's obvious.
I mean,
I can see the anxiety just defeating.
so stressed over an NPC's gift. I love it. Like,
Run!
Why do we get the NPC? My God.
Go, 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 go.
And Tessa, if you want to go take care of that, we can start making the boozy beverages, which Roscoe
Yes,
is
I
taking care
pull.
of.
I saw a bunch of shops. I need to go get my person a thing. I know just what to get, and she gets really super excited, just darts out the door.
I pull Nick
Neva
aside
starts
again.
making eggnog, then
Oh.
starts making better, and decides to make mulled apple cider instead.
Ooh,
I have a cup of eggnog right here.
so good.
So Neva will get started on some apple cider. Which is Tessa just making an uneventful trip there and back, or is Tessa going to encounter people?
So I was just going to, since it's getting kind of late, just kind of fast forward it, and just because I also don't want to give away what my gift is. So I would just say, like, she goes through the town, she buys what she needs to buy. She maybe like meanders a little bit, gets some more kebabs, gets distracted for like 20 minutes, and then comes back.
I pull Nick aside again as soon as Tessa leaves. I fucked up again. Why? Because now, I know you can hear me. Because now, Tessa is going to have a present for the person that she picked, and a present for Thrax, and that's going to have connotations.
Yeah, but like,
Tessa
are
likes
they
giving
bad?
gifts,
It's not the worst thing in the world, though.
She loves giving.
I think this is gonna work out. I felt really bad that I got
Okay.
stuck between them on the sleigh, but like,
Neva, make an insight check, please.
Solstice away.
31.
Okay.
This is
So Neva,
fucking excuse me.
So Neva sits there and as the children are fucking panicking, right? You look out the window and you see that like Thrax is outside just having a good time with Bosco. You know, you see him just this small corgi just disappear into dunes of sand, but then pop back out. Like the couple of times,
Sand?
like he gets dunes of snow. We
Sand
were just in the sand snow dudes. It's fucking fine, whatever. It's solstice. And to the point where like Thrax kind of has to dig him out a couple of times. He does get so like his ass is just in the air, and his little back nubbins are kicking. He's like, "Come on, man!" He just pulls him out. But Neva like has been picking up on Thrax very much. Is interested in Tessa, and to her, this seems like a good time. Like Roscoe, you could turn Roscoe's fuck up, or multiple fuck ups at this point, into maybe something a very little solstice-y.
Oh no.
Could be a little bit of solstice magic here.
Yep. So eventually Tessa returns. Thrax kind of like everyone sort of begins assembling in the main hall. So we start drinking the boozy drinks, and Thrax goes, "Hey, everybody. I hope you don't mind, but I ordered out for everybody."
Oh, that was so very kind of you, Thrax.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have been really cool to me and brought me to Fae Town.
The crossroads.
Yeah,
we were hoping you would join us for it's one of the traditions for solstice, at least here, is exchanging gifts, and we do have a gift for you as well. So we're hoping you join us for that.
You didn't have to do that. I'd like, you know, you guys have clearly been traveling for a long time. I didn't expect to be like, you know, part of that.
Since it's solstice, you're one of us for today, at least.
That's nice.
Come on over.
And you see that the food arrives, and he's ordered like the fantasy equivalent of like a bunch of pizzas and wings, because like that's all he could sort of get a hold of.
I mean,
Yo,
we're all
that
very
kicks
happy
ass.
with a bunch of pizzas and wings.
Well, maybe not
Yeah.
the wings.
Kiki sticks to pizza.
Sidebar.
Aggression on aggression
That is a family tradition. Christmas Eve is wing night, always.
Oh.
So this is really striking a chord.
So he does look at him. He does look at Kiki and goes, "No, I figured you may not like the wings, but they did have these." And he pulls out like these very big meatballs, and they look really good. They're very spiced. And he goes, "I didn't know if you ate meat. I figured the rest of them do. So I have some that are like, these are tofu, and these are regular. I don't know. I'm sorry."
Thanks. No, she's
People
really
stand
not
with
put
the
out. Yeah, she'll avoid eating like
The
poultry,
bird,
but
yeah.
she's not like and so she like just starts popping these huge meatballs in her like.
It's like a duck eating bread.
Like this.
She just assumes that's how you eat them. So she's
Yeah, so you see Thrax goes, you know, here. He cuts one with a knife, and he's like, you could do that. You know, it's also a cool way to eat them.
oh.
Who just eats a meatball with their hands? No.
She just like toss them
Pop
up.
it in like popcorn.
All right, yeah, whatever. Solstice.
So, is everybody ready for exchanging gifts?
Yes.
I pull out a little like linen wrapped a tube from my bag. Go sit down with it.
Tube.
So who would like
Neva
to?
pulls out like an ornately wrapped box with like ribbons and bows and shit. Like Neva is the perfectionist Christmas present wrapper in your family. That's Neva.
Yes.
Tessa walked in
Roscoe.
with gifts on her and like a bunch of
Yeah,
bags.
Roscoe is holding the equivalent of a plastic CVS bag that he's kind of like tucked over to indicate wrapping,
It's a classic.
but
It's a
nothing
classic.
else.
Does anyone particularly want to go first?
Do we want
Well,
to
we got to roll
it?
for it.
Roll for
Yeah,
it. Roll for
Roll
present
initiative.
initiative.
Roll initiative, kid.
Self initiative.
Gift
That's-
initiative.
Gift initiative.
For a gift initiative.
12.
12 for Neva.
5
Failed.
for Nick.
Oh, we all rolled shit.
I
I have to
crit
look up
failed.
what my
No,
dex
but this
is.
makes so much sense because we're all so nervous to be
12
like the
might get
first
it.
person and set the tone, you know?
Did
Oh
you
my
crit
God.
fail
Even-
Christmas?
even never.
I crit failed
I
Christmas.
never roll well on my initiatives. This is the best I've like rolled on initiative in ages.
Oh my
So
There
god.
you go.
Neva, you get to go first as you did that
Because
suggestion,
of
but
solstice
really,
spirit.
Yeah.
All right. Well then, Nicholas, happy solstice to you. And she hands you the box.
What kind of a present opener is Nick?
Ooh, this is a good question for us to consider about our characters.
Now
Great.
this is-
Are you a tear open the wrapping? Are you
No, Nick like undoes the ribbon and like peels off the tape from the side, you know, like loosening any like stickings with magic. Yeah, he's a careful opener.
Now we get into
So
the deep
he-
lore of the characters.
The deep lore.
Deep-
This is what the people want.
I carefully
Alright,
opened the
so-
box.
So the box contains a number of things. It contains 3 objects and a gift certificate.
Cool.
The objects are a small bracelet that looks as though it's made out of the actually, you know what? We'll go with the gift certificate first. So the gift certificate is a 200 gold gift certificate to Misty Haven,
Okay.
which is a sex shop in Haven.
Oh, okay. On brand for Nick.
You don't need to be a bard to be slutty, and if you plan enough, you can do it with any class.
Hell yeah.
The other 3 objects are a bracelet that looks almost as though it's made out of some of the vines that Neva has on her head. This is a vine bracelet that will give you access to 1 druid spell of your choice within a spell level that you already have access to per long rest.
Okay.
The next thing you have in there is you've seen Neva's tummy rock, so you know what a tummy rock is at this point.
I have one.
That's right, I forgot you have one. You get another one now.
Sick.
Yep.
Can I take these to an otter and get them like
Oh, there are
Like-
otter folk in this
like
town.
merge?
Yep, you can.
merge, like one of those like weird mobile merge games you probably see ads for all the time? Just drag them on top of each other.
And the 3rd object in there is a coin.
Okay.
Yeah.
I pick it up and kind of like turn it over.
When you pick it up, you notice that you now appear to be wearing striped pants.
What?
I
This is a
fingered.
coin that, when you're holding it, cast a stored instance of minor illusion to make it look as though you're wearing pants. However, they are the characteristic striped pants of a mime. This object is called the pantomime.
No.
Wow.
You
Nice.
get it. You win D&D. This is how you win D&D. This is the answer.
Good lord. Well, thank you very much.
For your occasional guest.
Ah. Nick is torn between like chucking it at her and like giving her a big hug and settles on hug.
He accepts the hug and hugs him back.
I love when one gimmick I did weeks ago becomes a long-standing like character point.
So
it's
proud
so
of
good.
Pantomime.
Yes, and.
I know.
Oh, it's so good.
So Nick, it is your turn.
Oh, that's perfect. All right. I hand my linen tube to Roscoe across the fire pit.
Oh. Thank you, brother. It's like a linen. It's like cloth wrapped?
Yeah, it's like a cloth wrap, and you can feel it's hard on the inside. Feels like a large bottle or something like that.
Roscoe doesn't rap well for others, but he respects the game. So I would like
There's a little like
with
drawstring on
some
one end you can undo.
yeah, with some consideration, I'm not tearing into it. I'm opening it up.
It is a glass jar with a big cork stopper on one end, and inside is a ship. It's a ship in a bottle, relatively classic. There's definitely some illusion magic that makes it look like, instead of just like, blue sparkles across the bottom or something, it looks like an actual storm is going on in there. And there's a little like pendant angel hanging from the corner that is faintly glowing. And I tell you, okay, now say light.
Light.
And it lights up like the light spell. It's effectively a drift globe, and the angel is the source of light in there.
Ooh, I'm into this. Okay. That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Not a lot of people get excited about ships in the middle of a storm. A lot of people get excited about ships when they look proud and fancy and heading out. So Roscoe feels seen a little bit here.
Good.
In a really nice way.
Good.
So I believe it's Roscoe's turn if Nick is good.
Roscoe takes his fantasy CVS bag with two lumpy things and turns somewhat like he's now seen the wrapping that other people have done. So he has enough understanding to have a little bit of chagrin as he turns to Kiki.
Oh.
And here you go. Here we go.
Oh,
and you could feel like two both blocky but pretty heavy things.
Oh, thank you.
In this thin bag.
Kiki opens the bag and just kind of puts her whole head in, like, like saying what she's saying. Are they wrapped inside? Oh,
well,
yes.
Putting your head in the bag, you would see from one of them, you would see glowing green buttons and glowing orange buttons, and from the other, you would see the occasional spark going off. So, just putting your face full in the bag, you're seeing things happening.
And they're spheres, you said.
There is one, like, think of it if, like, you're holding both in two separate hands, kind of to, even though it's still in the bag a little bit to support them. Mm-hmm. In your left hand, you can see rows of green and orange buttons on something.
Okay.
And in your right hand, you can see occasional sparks flickering around.
And they are like grapefruit size, baseball size, like.
Let's get them out of the bag. That'll help.
Okay, so she puts the bag down and pulls both of them out, one in each hand.
What do you want to look at first, the buttons or the sparks?
Her head goes back and forth for a little bit because there's glowing things and sparks. She'd probably lean toward the sparks one. Is there anything for her to
toward
push
the
or do?
sparks?
Yeah.
Nope. So you look at the sparks and you see in essentially shrink wrap 4 cylinders about an inch in diameter and about 2.5 inches long, 4 separate cylinders. They are essentially a 4-pack of D batteries.
Okay. She is intrigued by this. She tries to lick one. No, just kidding.
And you kind of go to peck it even jokingly, and I jump you a little bit.
Okay.
So
this makes Kiki more excited, actually, that you're jumpy. She's like,
it's dangerous. Excellent.
It's pretty much.
I have been, and I cast thaumaturgy and like picture sparks, like you know the coin trick where you flip the coin through your fingers. I'm doing that, except it's just like a nice chunk of electricity slipping through my fingers. I have been siphoning storm magic into these batteries for a little while now. Now feels like a good time to pass them over. So you basically have 4 batteries that, at the DM discretion, when you are making something, are going to be supercharged, depending on how you use them, how you involve them into one of your creations. You have 4 supercharges to those things.
Kiki just sort of quivers a little bit. She's a little bit like already
vibrating.
Just like the meme with the woman with the calculations in front of her face. Like you can Kiki actually casts minor illusions so you can see the calculations in front of her face. She's so excited. She almost forgets about the other one, to be honest. She's already thinking about what she could do. And is wondering if she should use one of them on the snowball thrower that she's thinking of for the snowball battle. Thank you. She's like, she almost doesn't know what to say.
Well,
yep.
Actually,
yes.
I think the other present might help with that.
Oh. So
you see,
yeah.
It essentially is like, if you can picture like when DJs have their sound boards, it is a sound pad with 16 buttons, 3 rows of 4 green buttons, so 12 green buttons total, and a 4th row of 4 buttons in orange. There are no labels. At the top, etched in a little brass plaque, it says, "The Ross Gecko."
Oh no.
I've really appreciated when you and I have gotten to speak in Orin over our little time together here. I thought it might be helpful to have a little augment to your squawk box, and you see there's actually like a wire, like picture like an aux cable.
What?
There's that should hopefully either now or with some modifications be able to fit into your squawk box. You can use this to have some longer phrases iterated. And the orange buttons determine what tone they're set in. Now, I set it up, and then I forgot what I attached each button to. So,
of course you did.
So meta, bear with me one moment.
Yes.
I am going to send you the blank sheet.
Oh my god,
that you are allowed to fill in.
Oh, I see. Okay. Nice.
I have already established what all of these buttons do. You have to hit a green button and an orange button together to have it make any noise. You can also roll a d12 and a d4, and it will just produce things.
Wow. Can Kiki press some now?
It's keys. You can do whatever you want.
All right, she wants to press the 4 on the green and a 1 on the orange.
4 on the green.
Yes.
And great. So there's a little speaker like on the back side of the thing. So you hit 4 and 1. The thing says, in a very pleasant voice, "I was born rich, but not in money. I'm just from handsome that I had to grow up funny." Wait, no, it's not loading. Come on. Show up. I have all of these written out, and some of them are very long.
Oh my goodness.
I'll copy and paste it into your blank one so you have it.
Okay. That's awesome.
Oh, come on, load. Damn you, Gmail. There we go. it says, in a very pleasant voice, which you can also write down that number 1 is a pleasant, friendly voice.
Right.
I was born rich, but not in money. I'm just far enough from handsome that I had to grow up funny. I can read you like a book, written a language I don't speak, but at least that means I get the picture, you know what I mean?
Kiki thinks this is the most wonderful thing ever. Like, because she, like I said, when she met the elemental out front who struggled to speak, she loves it. So she actually puts them down almost reverently, and she just gives you like the biggest hug. She's not like usually a hugger, but she's very moved by it. And she just says, "Thank you, thank you, thank you."
Big hug. While we're hugging in Orin, I just say, I'm really glad we found each other. That's all, bud.
She's a little choked up. She actually has trouble.
My cold dead
Okay.
heart.
Kiki?
I'm sorry. I'm so excited for you to slowly fill in this table of things. You should know that it ranges from the absurd and obscene to the like long speeches.
Does one of them give people extra hit points? Is it like
no, they don't do anything. There is no benefit to any of them. This is the gag gift. The batteries are your friend. This is the gag
basically
gift,
like
but you
Audible
figured out.
fortune cookies. Yeah, it's like Audible fortune cookies or something.
Mm-hmm.
All right, she's thrilled.
Kiki.
Thank you. All right, so Kiki turns to Tessa, and she gives her a box, and it's wrapped to look like a mimic, but Kiki gives you like a really over-the-top wink, like you don't have to be scared. It's not actually a mimic, but she's like doing this kind of awkward thing, like you would be fooled by it. And she hands you the box.
This is a wonderful box, Kiki.
Kiki's very excited.
Is it locked, or is it just I can open the?
No. She's like, wanted you to be able to open it.
Set it down in front of me, and I open up the box.
Okay, so you see two things. One is like a long strip of cloth, and there's another smaller box inside.
Okay, I move the cloth and I open up the smaller box.
The smaller box is a ring, and on it is a clear glass gem. It doesn't look expensive or anything like that. And there's an engraving on the ring in common.
Oh, this is beautiful. What does the engraving say?
Knock and the door will open. And so it is a one-time knock spell that you can use on a door if you have trouble. Opening it. Kiki looks very pleased with herself because she remembered your trouble with the closet door back in our first assignment.
Tessa thinks this is the most thoughtful thing ever. Because apparently this is a thing that happens very often.
She's like, one time only. Kiki's like, like she had to work to figure this out. But it's just like only once. So you like use at your discretion, basically.
Thank you so much, Kiki.
And then the piece of cloth is actually like a sash that goes over like your shoulder and your armor. And you can see there are symbols on it.
Ooh, do I recognize the symbols?
Well, they're all kind of like spirals or something. In a modern world, you would know what they look like, but
okay.
Probably not in fantasy world. You might not. So Kiki offers to help you put it on if you want to.
Oh, sure. Yeah, this is lovely.
Okay. So she helps you put it on, sash. She thinks it looks very fetching with your shiny armor, and she shows you which of the symbols to hit, and suddenly, or press or whatever, activate. And then the symbols in the back start whirring like little propellers. So basically, it acts like a speed potion, and once per day, it increases your walking speed slightly, but it increases your flight speed even more. And so she's like, thank you for my first flight. And she gives a little like flash.
Did Kiki give Tessa a jetpack?
Pretty much. It is pretty much like a little like tinker jetpack.
I'm just imagining the back swirling.
That's exactly,
yes. Power blades. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I go over to Kiki and I just wrap her in a big bear hug. Not so hard, I've learned.
Yeah, because she was. it meant a lot to her that you like gave her first experience of flight, and she'll never forget that. So she wanted to do something so you could fly even faster, and walk faster too if need be, or run faster. But yeah,
That's awesome. Oh, the knock thing's pretty fun.
Tessa?
Okay. So I'm going to turn to Thrax and Bosco, and it's like, okay, I'm going to give you guys your presents first.
Oh, okay.
So I hand him. I obviously had this professionally wrapped at the store. So
It has the little like branded tape on the sides.
yes. So I hand him a. It's probably about the rectangular shape, and I also take a bag out and I put it in front of Bosco.
Thrax he'll definitely rip his, but not like crazy, just sort of like is not as delicate as the rest of it. He does open it up.
So what he sees is there's this really ornate cover on this book, and it has like some Fae symbols on it. Some it looks old, and it has a guitar on the front. And what this is this is actually a book of guitar tabs for songs all across the Fae Wilds and also across the world. So Lasana, Dash and Ral, Chantha, Musa. There's a whole book of guitar tabs. I thought that would be cool.
You see like tears welling up in his eyes. He's so excited about this. Bosco is just gnawing at the bag, not really able to open it.
So I opened it for him,
Mm-hmm.
and there's an entire bag of bacon-flavored dog treats in there.
He dives in immediately with no intent to stop eating.
So he gets to the first one, and he eats it, and he burps, and it makes colored bubbles come out every time he eats a treat.
Okay, good to know. So he burps them, and it's like when a dog farts itself awake and it gets really freaked out, except he's really excited, so he starts chasing them and trying to eat them. And Thrax
Yeah, and they're all different colors.
Thrax now cannot stop laughing.
It works the other end, too.
Oh, that's good.
Oh,
And he goes,
stupendous.
is I did I wanted to show my appreciation for you folks, so I went into town and I sort of cut a deal, but I did get you all something, and he lays out small boxes in front of you, like very like jewelry sized boxes.
Should we all open them at the same time?
Unless this is full of funnels, I don't know if this is going to be a fair exchange.
I think you'll find them useful.
Oh, is this our? Do we
alright.
finally get our magic communication rings now, Scoot?
Ah!
They're not rings.
3, 2, 1. Open the box.
They're,
Open!
Box!
they're magic communication wristbands.
Oh,
Like
we called it.
There we
they're slap
go!
bracelets.
Finally!
Slap
Slap
bracelet.
bracelets?
Yeah, they're slap bracelets.
I feel
So
like
we-
And it's called Slapchat.
Yeah.
Oh!
Thank you
Oh
for
my
spiking
God.
that, Will. I was hoping somebody would get my
Yeah, I
side.
read
Yes.
you like a goddamn book.
yes.
God.
Slapchat TM.
Did me in.
Yeah, I found this
Fuck's
guy in
sake.
town. His name was Harry. He was kept trying to sell me hot dogs, but I just wanted this. So, yeah.
Yeah. You should
That's
actually take him up on the hot dogs. They're usually quite good.
Yeah,
Bosco
those are
did,
good, bro.
and he's been weird since. He sort of looks at his dog concerned.
That'll also
Ruh-roh.
happen.
Yep, and he says, and he says, I hope these will be useful to you folks.
These are wonderful. Thank you very
This is
much.
awesome.
Guy.
Thank you. Oh, and I have one more set of gifts to give. So I go up to Neva and I hand her one smallish square box and one very long box.
Okay. So
And
Neela,
both
despite
also
the
very
fact that
wrapped.
she is a very meticulous wrapper, is absolutely a rip the wrapping paper kind of person. Not like, fling it everywhere, but like, stick a finger in, slip the side of it, open it
Oh,
up
yeah.
efficiently. So
Get
I'll
in
open
there.
the long one first.
Okay. So this one is just, I kind of thought it was cute. and I thought it would be right up your alley. And what you see is this. It is a very tall, very ornately carved pipe. So if anybody's familiar with like Black Forest pipes, there are leaves, there are various animals carved into it. And what this is Tessa explains, this is a pipe of smoke monsters. So the user of this pipe of smoke monsters can concentrate when exhaling to shape the smoke into the likeness and colors of any creature, such as a dragon or a deer or a wolf or whatever you want. So it'll occupy a 1-foot cube and it will just disappear after 30 seconds.
Yeah, so this is wonderful. I will very much make use of this. I can also see Will, the player, looking at this and being like, wonder if I can make that.
Ideas.
Bro, you don't think I'm trying to make a pipe right now? You don't even know me.
Neva will open the other box next.
So in the other box is it is also an ornately it's a teacup, and it's got all sorts of flowers on it and various colors and butterflies, and you notice that it's actually already full of tea. And Tessa explains, oh yeah, I found this in a shop, and the woman who was explaining it to me, she said this is called Serenity, and it's a calming tea. It's specifically for those who don't get or don't much need sleep. So in meta, once per long rest is an action. Drinking this tea will imbue the drinker with the effects of a short rest, and it will refill itself after a long.
So as it happens, one of the features that I have as part of my particular druid circle, which is circle of the Fae Courts, is something called Courts Retirement, which is during a short rest, you can recover expended spell slots that have a combined level that is equal to or less than half your druid level rounded up. So I can now do that at least once at will.
That's actually a regular druid thing, and I thought of that because I was like, oh yeah, you get your spell slots back.
Yup.
That is super dope.
Yep. You folks revel in your gifts. You spend the rest of the night eating, making merriment, trading those stories. And it gets kind of time to head off to bed, and Thrax finds Tessa alone, or, when she's sort of away from the group, and he comes up to her and he says, so I apologize, but I did get one more thing. Thank you for that help with Bosco. That's gonna... The bubbles don't smell nearly as bad as his farts. And he hands you another jewelry box.
Well, you didn't have to.
I really wanted to, he says.
All right.
Oh, like the confidence.
So Tessa opens it, and you see a necklace that has these sort of diamond-like beads on them. And he tells you that this is something that I found from that hairy gentleman, but I figured you would like it. He calls this a chain of memories. So something you can do is sort of store, if you think about it, you can remember it very clearly. You can store a memory in one of these beads. There are 7 of them. The one in the middle is sort of the bigger. The other 3 are a little offset. And, if you concentrate on them, you'll kind of be able to see it, happen around you. And I know that your family is very important to you, and you don't want to lose. Probably stay connected with them and have those memories. And maybe, you can, if we make, you guys, he says, like kind of realizing he said we, make new ones, you can store them here.
Well, that is really sweet. I've never heard of anything like that before. And I do put on the necklace.
Yeah, I'm so glad you like it. And he's just smiling at you.
And I say, oh, come here. And I just give him the same bear hug I gave Kiki and kind of like lift him off the ground.
I forget how strong you are. Tessa, you're crushing
I give
it.
one to Bosco, too.
Yeah.
Just so he feels included.
Yeah. So the night, do you anything else, Tessa? Because after you've almost crushed this man.
No, that's it.
Okay. He smiles and he goes, would you mind taking care of Bosco for a little bit? I think he wants to sleep with you for a bit, and you see the dog is just sort of like already jumping to get up in your arms.
Sure, I can look after him. It's no problem.
Where's Tessa sleeping?
Yeah.
I think 3 of them
Bosco wants to sleep with you.
So yeah, like since nobody took the big bedroom, she's just gonna take that because she's very large and very tall. So
Checks out.
Everybody else is having the bunk bed hammock party. She's gonna go take the bigger room. Especially not
So Neva will
Bosco's
be
probably gonna take up most of the bed, actually. I feel like.
Neva will be sleeping outside, but you guys will find that in the morning when you wake up, there is somehow a Christmas tree inside, and also there is mistletoe hanging over the door that enters into the kitchen.
Right, but in the middle of the night, actually, as even Neva is asleep, something that I need Kate. I need you to roll me a perception check at disadvantage because you were in the depths of sleep in the Fae Wilds. You would not. You're in the Crossroads. So there's no real reason to be alert here. This is one of the safest places you could be.
Gosh darn it! I have to give up a crit.
You do.
It's fine. I still get an 18. My other option was a crit.
Damn it.
I mean, Scoot. So normally I roll with advantage on my perception checks. Even if I just rolled normally, I still get the 18.
Yeah, it would just be it would be the first one then. You actually don't notice this is you're a little tipsy, you're very full of food and you're sleeping, but Thrax moves out in the dead of night. It is a clear night. All the stars that hang over Haven are out, and most of you don't see this, but he extends his wings. He extends his wings, and when the starlight hits him, they change. They're normally this sort of blue, very blue feathers. They mirror Tessa's, except they're a different color. They shift into being made of almost entirely stars and constellations. It's a sort of flowing magic that comes from him, but they're still wings, so he lifts himself up, and he begins flapping. And for a minute, Neva, you hear the flapping, and you look around, and you don't see anything. And you're like, all right, it's just some bird, and you conk back out. And he flies up very high, and he begins looking at specifically the stars. And he goes, hey, Mom. Yeah, they're really cool. I'm just wondering if you could maybe help these people. They seem like, really good folk. Okay, thank you. And then he swoops back down. He lands. His wings remain the sort of spectre-y stars. And with you, 18, I will give you do see him, Neve, as you wake up, because you hear something land a little harder.
Right, if the landing was enough to wake me up.
Yeah, you wake up, and you see Thrax is just kind of walking around, and you see his wings for the first time being this made of stars, very spectrally. You can still see the outline of where the feathers should be, and it's not that it's made of constellation, it's just his wings are fundamentally different, it seems, than Tessa's when it's nighttime. And he does he notice you?
Does she hear him land on the rooftop? With all the snow.
Click, click, click.
Click, click, click.
You do. You see him land on the rooftop.
There's no clatter. No clatter.
You see him kind of hop down from the top to go back inside the door. He does not notice you because you are very covered in snow at this point.
Yes.
And you see him. You're just noticing him, and you see the wings the first time, but you see as he enters the room, the wings shift back to his normal blue feathers that you've been seeing him, and he does. He goes by the master bedroom, and he looks in, and he sees Bosco has indeed taken up most of the bed. So Tessa is on a sliver of it in her huge form.
Rolled up in the fetal position.
And Bosco is just sort of assed out on most of the bed, and he shakes his head and he laughs. And he closes the door and he heads to one of the spare bedrooms where he turns in.
Neva's not going to do anything with this yet. He's going to keep it in mind for later.
Yep. So you folks wake up. You find that there is now a fully trimmed Christmas tree in your house that was not there before, as well as mistletoe in the kitchen, you said, Neva?
Basically, I'm picturing the kitchen as one of those archways, like an open kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're walking into the kitchen, there is mistletoe there. Does not have any magic on it, which compels you to kiss anybody. As ever, mistletoe is optional to use. It requires the consent of all participants walking under it, but it's available in case anyone wants to make use of it.
Consent mistletoe.
Consensual mistletoe, nice.
Although during the morning,
Actually, sorry. There is magic on this mistletoe. It won't let you kiss the other person if they don't want to kiss you back.
Nice.
you
Forcibly consensual mistletoe.
So as Nick,
They take that very seriously.
we do. As Nick, as you groggily wake up, you walk into the kitchen and you find that you and Roscoe are underneath the mistletoe, just by happenstance. Like Roscoe's drinking a coffee, maybe hasn't noticed it.
Gonna walk straight through.
So-
I'm not gonna make it weird.
And on
Damn
that
it.
bombshell,
As soon as his back is passed, Roscoe makes no reaction. That's not. But I had you for a second there.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, oh dear.
Ah!
But in the night, folks, as you all wake up, you feel a little different as you're all kind of coming aware of things. As something happened in the night. Most of you feel like Nick. You feel a little more studious. Tessa, you feel stronger. Like you don't know.
Did we all just get a boost to our primary stat, Scoot?
You did. Whatever Thrax did in the night ended up resulting in all of you getting a +2 to whatever stat you would like.
Oh my.
Even
Up
over
to-
20?
Or up to a max
Yeah.
of 22.
That gives me a +5. So strong.
Now, if that didn't bring you to 22, your new max for that stat is 22.
Oh. It's solstice magic.
So happy solstice to everyone from your DM.
Yay.
Saturday miracle.
It feels like we are wrapping up. So just for the purposes of in this campaign, I have drawn a lot of great joy from our RP text channels that help flesh things out in between our actual interactions. Roscoe makes a point when we are sitting around the fire after gifts telling stories. Telling stories would be a really big part of that solstice experience. So don't be surprised if there are some moments of Roscoe prompting and welcoming different types of stories from folks in that moment of sitting around the fire.
I like that.
Just let that.
I like that a
Just
lot.
prepare
That's
for
good.
that,
I'm ready.
Okay.
and that can happen offline.
All right, then. Thank you all for joining us, and I hope everyone is safe and happy and socially distanced fucking holidays, because god damn it. And we will see you all very soon again in Ryan. Thank you for coming.
Bye.
Yeah.